Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and to be frankly honest with you guys on this, this video is actually kind of upsetting to make because as a content creator, as someone who has been uploading on YouTube for a decade in 2 months at least, as someone who has built an audience of over 1 million subscribers here on YouTube alone, right, and have these followers and have all these positive interactions with the people who watch my content, I really can't imagine what kind of like mental state you have to be in to be not only able to do something like this, to plan it out, to actually act on this and do something like this, but to be so shamelessly defensive over doing something like this. It honestly blows my mind, man. If you're gonna be a complete piece of garbage like this, the least you can do is actually try to redeem yourself and do the right thing. The thing you know that not only you have the capability to do, but should do. So this video, obviously by the title, is about a creator named Ice Poseidon. He's been a pretty big figure, I would say, in the online community for a long time, for years. In fact, I've heard about Ice Poseidon for probably the better part of at least half a decade now. He's mostly known for like his Twitch streams and stuff like that. I feel like that's what a lot of people kind of know the backstory of this guy about. He's kind of actually shunned in the Twitch community from what I understand. I feel like a lot of people don't interact with him. But he recently got exposed by a YouTuber named Coffeezilla for scamming his audience out of $500,000, for scamming his fans out of $500,000. You guys probably know about the whole like Save the Kids scam and like all of these NFTs and cryptocurrency scams that creators and internet personalities have been pulling off over like the last year or so. There's been countless frauds and you know, rug pulls and different things that have basically just been exposed left and right. You know, a lot of even prominent YouTube creators have been caught scheming and plotting to scam their audiences and stuff like that out of ridiculous amounts of money. We're talking about a guy who, you know, had an established career, already had plenty of money, you know what I'm saying? You definitely earn a lot when your name was as big as Ice Poseidon's was. It's not like this guy's fucking broke and this is his last opportunity to pay his rent or feed his family or anything like that, right? This guy simply did this not only because he knew he could and would get away with it, or at least that's what he thought, but because simply the opportunity was there. This guy realized, hey, I have a get out of jail free card to be a complete piece of shit, horrible person, and I might as well do it, so I'll do it, you know? And I think that that's kind of like an insane mentality, right? Because, you know, most people, even when you know that you can get away with doing something wrong, your moral compass tells you, hey, don't do it, because you just shouldn't do it. It's immoral, it's wrong, it's not acceptable. And apparently people like Ice Poseidon, they don't have these moral compasses. They don't have the ability, or at least the care, I should say, to look at what they do and actually decide not to do something. I mean, for instance, I know for a fact right now I could walk to Walmart and I could suplex an old woman named Betty at 87 into the concrete and steal her purse, right, and run off. I know that I could do that, and in fact, in a lot of major cities and stuff, crimes like this a lot of times don't even get solved, so I could possibly, theoretically, get away with it. But I'm not a complete reprehensible piece of shit, right, who has to prey on other people in order to make money, so my moral compass tells me that that's wrong. I don't need to fuck up an old woman for money. So Ice Poseidon essentially came out with his own cryptocurrency, with his own little shit coin or whatever, and he apparently spent 2 weeks or whatever kind of planning this out, you know, implementing all the technology to get this thing up and going and whatnot. Apparently this whole scheme took him 2 weeks, according to what we know now from Coffeezilla's video and everything else. So within 2 weeks, he was able to scam $500,000 out of people's hands, right? He was able to steal and defraud that much money from investors that, you know, mostly made up people who trusted him. That's how these influencer shit coins and things like that work, right? So like, for instance, I have 1 million subscribers. Tomorrow, I could come out with Opticoin, right? And I have 1 million people that I can market that to because, you know, they like my videos and they subscribe to my channel and they watch my content, whatever, you know, they like my gameplay or my personality or whatever. And that's basically what he did. He went to the people who trusted him and believed in him most and fucked them over. And he openly admitted to it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some video clips from Coffeezilla's video, which I heavily encourage you to watch. The entire video is just extremely damning. Like, there's no way for Ice Poseidon to defend himself from this, really. Go ahead and take a look. And just, I want you to note while you watch this, note how shameless Ice Poseidon is about admitting to committing fucking felonies. Just no problem, you know, just admitting that he's not only a piece of shit for this, but also is subject to actual criminal punishment for what he did.
You want to keep the money that's not yours. that you took from the project, even though you'd failed to deliver?
I mean, I'm not really sure what you want me to say, but yeah.
I'm trying to like get you to return the money because it's 100% still available and you could do that.
Yeah, I could give the money back. It is within my power. But I'm going to look out for myself and not do that. I don't like know what else to say. That's just the most honest answer.
You know anything about that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, not rugged, but I mean.
Well, someone pulled all the liquidity out. That's a rug, right?
That would be a rug, yes. But there is still liquidity in there.
40K got left and 300K got ripped out, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is exactly what happened.
Right. Are you laughing? I mean, is that funny? Who would?
The crypto market is crashing and $300,000 is in there. There's two options, right? Leave the money in there, and then if BNB goes down to like $100, the money goes to shit anyways, or I could take it and the money is not just going to dust.
The money would have never gone to dust. I mean, it just would go back to the investors when they sold out, when you told them, hey guys, I'm no longer interested in this project. I wipe my hands of it. You know, you got your 50K in, you got your 50K out, you're good, right? You didn't deliver. This is not your money. I can't believe you keep thinking of it as your money that's going away. That's your investors' money, and it should be their decision what they do with it.
Okay, I mean, that's a fair point.
That's a fair point. Yet, despite all these fair points I kept making, every time ICE got cornered about the fact that he was basically stealing from his investors, he slowly pivoted his language from, oh, this isn't a rug pull, to more like, well, the investors deserved it. He said, they believe too much in his project and his word.
They're like, part of the responsibility is on them as well for being, putting too much emotion into it.
I mean, you saw it right there. Like, he literally doesn't even care about what he did. And throughout the entirety of this, Coffeezilla made the point, right? Like, the reason that he even wanted to have this conversation was so that he could get ICE Poseidon to simply give the money back. Because, I mean, from what I understand, this cryptocurrency he created had been stable for months, right? Didn't have any trading volume. People weren't buying and selling it, so the price wasn't really fluctuating or anything like that. He had no intentions after he created the project of continuing it and supporting it and trying to actually make it a viable option to buy and invest in. He just kind of got like the initial sum of money from the sales or whatever and just gave up at that point, right? And he knew that he could give the money back to these people. He knew that he could, save them from being defrauded by him, but he's gonna quote unquote look out for himself. What this means is he's keeping the money for himself. He doesn't give a fuck that these people got defrauded. He doesn't care that these people, may have lost even their life savings, depending on who invested how much, right? Because you got to think, and this is a good point made in the video, ICE Poseidon's audience is not as rich as him. The people watching ICE Poseidon's content to the point that they'd invest in something like this, oftentimes, they're not multi-millionaires. They don't have even $600,000 or something crazy in the bank. I mean, most Americans literally don't even have enough money to survive if their next paycheck basically bounced or something. Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, so they live within like a couple $100, if that's even being generous for some people. Especially in the midst of the global pandemic that has been, kind of hurting the economy globally. I think that really just adds on to how much of a piece of shit you really have to be to do something like this, right? And he's so shameless in saying he's gonna take care of himself, aka defraud his investors and betray his fans. It's like he literally doesn't give a fuck whatsoever, right? Like, you can hear it in his voice and what he said quite literally, he just doesn't care. And in fact, his defense for why it was pretty much acceptable for him to do what he did was because these people should have known better, quote unquote. His rationale was that, it's wrong that I'm taking this money, but these people should know better simply because, number one, they were buying into an investor shitcoin, Who would have ever guessed that an ICE Poseidon coin would ever perform well? Who would have ever thought that it'd be a good investment? Quite literally everyone that you said would be a good investment to, aka your audience, everyone that you promised this big fucking project to, made it out like they were making a good investment in a content creator that they believed in, those are the people. So he tries to play it off as if like, oh, what I did isn't even that important too, because, he's just a content content creator making a shitcoin. It's not like this is Bitcoin or something else that actually matters, right? So he basically just insulted the intelligence of his most diehard supporters that spent money on this project by saying, you know, you're a fucking idiot if you believed that this was ever going to go anywhere. You're a fucking moron if you ever thought that Ice Poseidon coin or whatever the fuck it was called is, I can't even remember the name of it, is going to pop off, right? How much of a dipshit do you have to be to believe in an online creator such as myself, Ice Poseidon? So out of that like $500,000 or whatnot that was, you know, defrauded basically with this project, Ice Poseidon himself netted $300,000 in profit simply for what he claims is 2 weeks basically of defrauding his audience. And the craziest part about it, right, is this isn't even the first time that Ice Poseidon has admitted to being a scamming piece of shit. In what I believe is like a deleted VOD from his Twitch, he basically admitted while on stream or in video in some form, I believe years ago at this point, that he committed credit card schemes and frauds back in the day. He was like somehow being a scamming piece of shit with credit cards. And he went on to say like, oh, you know, I never really did anything with the credit cards or whatever, after openly admitting regardless to committing a felony and being a stealing piece of shit. So this isn't even the first time, right? Like, and this is the reputation that he's now building. So Coffeezilla came out with this video. A lot of people are talking about it now. You know what I mean? A lot of people are shitting, obviously, on Ice Poseidon for doing something like this. But let's be real here, okay? The reason why he openly admitted to this is because nothing usually happens in these situations. Like I said, you know, you probably have heard of things of like Save the Kids, things like that. The people involved in the Save the Kids scam that happened literally didn't face any repercussions, really. Like what, they got canceled on social media for a little bit, and then once everyone stopped talking about it, it just got pushed to the wayside and forgotten again. Like, from my knowledge, none of these people faced charges. They didn't have to give back any of the money. They didn't fucking lose anything from it, right? They still made out like bandits while ripping people off, and all they got was some social media flack. They got some mean tweets and some YouTube videos. So, you know, Ice Poseidon at that point, you know, he sees all these other scams and shit that people got away with. You know, why not do it, right? Because the government hasn't gotten involved, right? We haven't seen like the SEC or anybody like that really get involved and investigate these fuckfaces for doing this kind of thing. So he kind of just thought he was in the clear for this one, right? Well, it turns out that Coffeezilla did end up posting a government link where you can actually report crimes like this, fraudulent crimes like this, and if enough people investigate it or actually report it, it could be investigated. I don't know if it ever is going to get investigated. I wouldn't be surprised if not, but I don't like to be that guy that calls on, like, you know, snitching or like people to go to the police or anything, but this is a situation where I think it's actually genuinely justified, right? Like, this person is being a genuine piece of shit. This isn't someone mowing their grass too loudly and some Karen calls the fucking cops on them, right? This is someone defrauding hundreds of thousands of dollars from God knows how many investors, openly admitting to committing the crimes and having all of the evidence and everything, and just basically like challenging people to do something about it, right? This is a clear case of fraud. I mean, I've never seen really many other cases more cut and dry than this, right? This is fucking fraud. He claims that he never went into the project with the intentions of like shutting it down and like not doing anything else with it and running off with people's money, but at this point he's been such a lying and scheming piece of shit for so long, I'm not totally sure that I believe that, because if you had such moral intentions of creating this project in the first place, where did those morals go when you realized that you didn't have to do anything else? Usually people with a moral compass who go into projects with this kind of like great intention, if they genuinely have such great intentions, they don't immediately defraud everybody the legitimate first opportunity that they get. I can't understand doing something like that, man. Like, as someone who has been able, I don't know, I've been in a position to where I could have profited perhaps hundreds of thousands of dollars myself by promoting these shit coins and these garbage NFT collections that nobody's buying. You know, people who come to my inbox in my business email and said, hey, will you promote our cryptocurrency or our fucking project or whatever, right? I have literally never promoted these things because there's already such like a shady look at this kind of stuff simply because other creators can't fucking handle themselves and they turn into Ice Poseidon and scam their audience, so nobody really trusts people who do this anymore. But also because, you know, these are literally projects that have no fucking value, right? Like, no one's gonna be buying these coins in 3 years for their fundamental usage. You wouldn't believe what YouTubers get offered in terms of sponsorships, right? Like how much money they can genuinely make off of projects like this. And that's why you see the scumbags jumping out of the fucking, you know, the woodworks basically to get their fucking grubby little palms on as much of this scam money as they can. Because it is there for the taking. There's people throwing this shit left, right, and center. It's never been easier to create your own cryptocurrency. It's never been easier to defraud people on the fucking internet. I don't think Nigerian princes emails made off like these do. But those of us who have been offered these opportunities and turned them all down, I mean, like, from that perspective, just seeing someone do this to people who trusted them is fucking insane. Like, me personally, you know, I'll open my business email or like my Twitter or something, and every single day I read comments where people are like, hey man, I love your content, been watching you for years, you really make my day a lot better when I get to see a video, or I watch your content when I'm sad and, you know, it turned my day around and now I'm happy again, or I learn a lot from your videos and you keep me up to date on real world situations and, you know, situations I'd be interested in on the internet, thank you. These are people who have a legitimate connection with my content. These are people who I make a personal fucking impact on, and that means the world to me. Like, that actually means the world to me. You guys don't understand how much better that makes my day when I see shit like that. To imagine myself putting those people in a position to lose their fucking money because they trusted me and they cared and they wanted to be involved in something cool, and me fucking them over and destroying their trust and hurting them on such a personal level and potentially ruining their lives. I wouldn't even be able to sleep at night if I did something like this. Like, I don't know how this motherfucker can sleep knowing that he's pulling this off and is doing this. But of course, when he realized that he was caught and Coffeezilla was gonna come out with this and, you know, it was basically all gonna come to light and whatnot, Ice Poseidon suddenly announced that the project he no longer cared about, he was going to be giving back a bunch of the money through a buyback program, right? Where they were gonna buy back a bunch of these fucking coins and whatnot and basically give people their money back that they can cash out and whatnot, right? So good guy Ice Poseidon, you know, he fucking flipped the script. He doesn't want to be a scam artist no more. This ain't no Wolf of Wall Street ending, baby. He ain't going to fucking jail for scamming. He ain't the next Jordan Belfort. Out of that $300,000 that he personally profited, about $46,000 was used to buy back this currency. Barely over 10% of those funds went back to giving, you know, the audience back their fucking money. So at this point, Ice Poseidon has still pocketed, what, you know, $250,000 by scamming these people. He openly admitted it and stood behind it and doubled down and defended it for whatever fucking reason. When he realized he was gonna get caught, he tried to make it out like he was doing this crazy big charitable thing and giving the money back, because, you know, good guy Ice Poseidon, and then has been caught lying again, making it out like he was giving all this money back when he gave barely anything back. So at this point, if the SEC or whoever were to look into this and they're like, hey, let's bring some fucking felony charges on this guy and put him in prison, I honestly couldn't be fucked. You know, I wouldn't be bothered by that. And I wouldn't be bothered if it happened to any of these fucking YouTubers and Twitch streamers and internet celebrities and shit that are doing these things. These people are knowingly ripping people off. Thousands of people, right? You gotta think. These guys have massive audiences, massive platforms. They're defrauding people internationally. You know, multiple countries, there's people getting fucked with. This is more serious than you might think. You know, you may think this is just some internet drama shit. No. This is felonies. This is felonious. This is fraud. There's your 3 F's for the day. Felony, felonious, and fraud, fellas. 4 F's, fuck it. I'm not totally sure what's next for Ice Poseidon. Will charges get brought up? I don't know. Will he try to save his public reputation? I don't know. Will everyone just forget about it? Who fucking knows? I don't know, man. But I am so sick and tired of seeing these kinds of situations in the creator community. I'm so sick and tired of every, like, couple months something massive like this happens. These people should be ashamed of themselves, and they should be in jail for what they're doing. And not only that, these people will be rotting in hell, man. There's not good karma and good consequences to people who do shit like this, man. So with that being said, though, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Also, I want to go ahead and heavily encourage you to watch Coffeezilla's video about the situation. He explains it better than I do. He has all the evidence. He's the one who kind of broke the whole situation. From my understanding, there was inklings of suspicion from people already in the community that this was a big fucking scam and they were trying to get people to cover it, but no one really bit or followed along with it because Ice Poseidon would always like cover it up by trying to prove it was legit and whatnot. No, I'm not scamming anybody or whatever, but who knows, man. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @subtooptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And now also, OptiCoin is for sale at Shop Optimus. Go to optim.us and you can get you some fucking OptiCoin. I promise I won't rug pull it after the fucking price of it goes up 400% from the interest. But with all that being said, this is Optimus, well, not ripping off my audience because I'm not a garbage human being, and signing out.